Welcome to You Here with Nerds. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
And we got some nerd news for you today.
We sure
Not
do.
a lot.
Not a lot.
It's kind of slow this week, I feel like, as far as
just a healthy
exciting
amount.
things.
Yeah.
Let's start with something less exciting than the rest. And that is that there's going to be a new Lion King movie, everyone.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yep. Hooray. So here's the thing. You don't make $1 billion at the box office and just go away. You're going to be making a sequel, especially when you're owned by Disney here. I mean, come on. That being said, I have not actually watched this movie the entire way. I watched like maybe about 10 minutes of it when I had my Disney Plus subscription active. I didn't know whether to be like honored or offended here, just because it's like a shot-for-shot remake, like on everything here.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. My wife liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bigger fan of Aladdin, to be honest, because it was like not a shot-for-shot remake. It was very close.
Well, and even that, like when I watched that, I was like, okay, this is way too similar to like the first movie. And so it's like, I can, from what you've told me and from what I've heard, like I can only imagine like, you know, the Lion King's like 10 times worse in that regard here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is, it's considered to be a continuation of the 2019 story, so the original Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that we're going to go back into Mufasa to learn more about Mufasa, which we're not really sure how that's going to pan out quite yet. If it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a full-on prequel, but I can see there being flashbacks throughout the movie.
Yeah, they're kind of unclear about like what exactly this is, you know, specifically going to be. It's a continuation, which you would assume means sequel here, but the only real detail we have about like what this movie is going to be about is about the possibility of Mufasa's origin story taking front and center. Now, that being said, yeah, it could be a flashback scenario where you get to learn more about Mufasa, or it could just be straight up, you know, Lion King 0.5 or something along those lines.
Yeah. But we'll find out more soon. There's still no release date or anything, so we'll see.
We'll see.
If you're a Spider-Man fan, this was the week for you, I feel like.
Was it, though?
It was.
Okay.
We get the best villain they've ever... No, I'm just kidding. Electro's back.
Yeah, from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, no less. So Jamie Foxx, who played Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, is making an MCU debut in the third Tom Holland movie.
As Electro.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I got a lot of questions about that here, and I don't think anybody's got any good answers right now.
No, and that arguably Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which what was even the name of that movie?
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Just nothing, no subtitle?
No subtitle, no.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, it was arguably the worst Spider-Man except for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I mean... Pretty much like whenever I see like a rankings list for Spider-Man movies, it's usually those two that are at the bottom of the list. It's, you know, they flip-flop back and forth, but usually it's those two.
Bully Maguire is where it's at, though.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, just type in Bully Maguire into YouTube. Watch Bully Maguire gets Thor's hammer. Enjoy, and you're welcome.
Yep.
So anyhow, yeah, I mean, so... Let's unpack like the first question. Why? Like why would, you know, Marvel basically recruit like, you know, Jamie Foxx, which I mean, here's the thing. Good actor. Mm-hmm. I mean, I actually like Jamie Foxx.
The
Django, yeah, exactly. But that being said, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so this guy gave a very underwhelming performance as Electro, and you just decided like, hey, you know, let's do it again. I mean, granted, I'm sure they're going to make some changes and, you know, differences here, I would imagine, in some way, shape, or form, not just go directly from like how he was written in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, from what I hear, they're not going to do a backstory. They're just going to assume you know from watching the other Spider-Man movie. Which would be the Amazing Spider-Man 2 that is not part of the same universe.
Exactly. So that also raises another question on this here. So is this essentially making a multiverse scenario in the MCU, or is it or is this kind of like almost like one of those things, like, you know how like in spoilers if you haven't watched Far From Home, which I mean that's on you at this point here, but you remember how like at the end of From Far From Home you had James Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons,
who played in the Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, who played James Jonah Jameson in the Tobey Maguire movies.
Yeah,
here. And it's like, and it wasn't like, like, oh yeah, this is confirming that there's like a multiverse or anything.
No, it was just like, oh, that's J. Jonah Jameson in this universe.
Well, and it's also like, this guy was, he nailed it as James Jonah Jameson in, one set of movies. Why not bring him back for, this set of movies kind of thing? At least that's how I felt about it, or like why it was put in, and kind of like as an Easter egg kind of thing here.
Yeah. And it would be like, okay, this is just where in this universe, J. Jonah Jameson is like this, blogger, internet news person. I don't know, because it was like dailybugle.net or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just a cool homage to the character, letting you know, he's still around. This character does exist. So they could do something like that where they kind of retcon the character.
That's kind of what I'm wondering here, because I mean, on the one hand, I could see this going both ways. I can see it being a multiverse scenario, because they definitely, tease that in Far From Home.
Well, and you got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness coming up.
You do, yeah. So I mean, it's a possibility for one here. I mean, the way I could see it like not panning out that way is just being a straight up retcon, kind of like with James Jonah Jameson here, is that because this movie, it seems like it's going to have a lot that going on for one. I mean, Peter Parker's identity has been leaked. He's been branded a killer here. And it kind of seems like they might be setting up maybe a Sinister Six scenario here. Because,
they've been trying to do that for a decade now.
They most certainly have. But I mean, you got some players here. You got Vulture. You have
Scorpion.
The Shocker. You have
Mysterio's going to be out there.
Possibly. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but I mean,
Mysterio's more in this universe. He's more of like a mantle versus an actual character.
Yeah, he could be. Yeah. So, and then obviously, we have Electro, and so there's also, I don't know, is Morbius a part of the Sinister Six?
I'm sure he was not the original Sinister Six, but they also have Morbius and Venom, to be part of that movie as potentially as well.
Potentially. And then, I mean, there's also talks about, Daredevil potentially popping up here. We've heard rumors about that. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it seems like it has a lot on its plate already. It might be too much to like, do this whole like multiverse, sub storyline on top of everything. That maybe not. I don't know. It just kind of depends on how they do it.
Yeah, I'm still interested to figure out how Peter Parker is going to go back to being a normal kid.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think, at least at this point in time, I don't think he does here. I think being a superhero is probably going to have to be his full-time job, because I mean, how do you like unring that bell essentially?
Multiverse.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know, honestly.
I don't know. So,
but yeah, I think Sinister, they're pointing towards a Sinister Six movie happening. It's just a matter of who's going to be in it and when. I think this will not be Spider-Man 3. I don't think it's going to be Spider-Man 3, subtitle The Sinister Six Begins,
Sinister Six Come to My Home here or something like that, because they got
Home of the Sinister Six.
Yeah, exactly. They got to work in home somewhere in there.
Yeah, so I don't think that that's the case. I think it's going to be a separate movie. You also have the movies that Tom Holland's going to be in for just Sony, which is Venom and or Maximum Carnage potentially. We'll see if he's in there, but
possibly.
Venom versus Spider-Man, I don't know.
They have mentioned that this is essentially going to be a shared universe. I mean, obviously you have the Vulture popping up in the Morbius trailer, and they said Morbius and Venom share the same universe here. So
yeah, I'm very interested, especially with that one, because like analyzing like the spider suit and stuff. Like it, is the multiverse already happening? Is there going to be a Spider-Verse live action?
Yeah,
I can see that definitely happening.
I
soon.
mean, yeah, who knows? They might be emboldened by how good Spider-Verse was, but the thing about Spider-Verse was like that. Even though that was like praised by like critics and fans alike, that wasn't like a big like box office like money generator from what I understand here. It like only like just did okay or something like that. So I don't know.
I don't know either. And I know originally they were going to do
a live action one with like
no, it was going to be animated. It was going to have Tom Holland, Spider-Man,
Andrew Garfield,
Tobey Maguire to be part of that as well, and they said no.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
So
which, I mean, I don't know. I think what we got was actually probably better what they initially planned.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of Spider-Man, we're talking about some PS5 remakes. We got Spider-Man for the PS4 being remade on PS5.
Yeah.
And they completely just threw out Peter Parker's design and redid it.
Yeah, the character model has had some changes made to it. Yeah, which
looks about 10 years younger.
Yeah, I mean, essentially it's, looking more like Tom Holland than it does from like, say somebody like maybe Andrew Garfield. Like I would say probably like the game one looks a little bit more closer to like Andrew Garfield than anybody here in terms of like the live action. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, the one for the actual game.
From the original character model from the
I would
game,
say it looks more like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, and so now the character model looks more like Tom Holland, and it's kind of a out of left field decision for the most part here.
Yeah, just really weird. Why would you spend that much time just redesigning a character that people were fine with?
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, it's like I don't think anybody was complaining about this guy not looking like Tom Holland here. And it's kind of like you have like almost a reverse like Avenger scenario. You know what I'm talking about here by chance? Like how...
Oh, like the game?
Well, yeah.
They don't look anything like the counterparts in the MCU.
Right. It's like kind of like it was kind of like a weird type of like a factor where, like you're expecting these people to look like this here and they don't look
and you're
really
like
that or sound like that. So it's... And I think that it might just be because, we've had only like really one live action, like Iron Man, one mainline in action, Thor, one mainline action, Captain America, one mainline action, Black Widow here. I mean, I know there's been like, some like, smaller like things, and all that like way back when, but this is like this is what people associate those characters with how those actors look. Whereas we've had like 3 Spider-Man in the span of 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of this who's the studio that's did this game?
Oh, Insomniac.
Insomniac.
Yeah.
So I thought it was Insomniac. They kind of came out and said that it wasn't necessarily to make him look like Tom Holland, but to look more like the voice actor. And I don't know if you know who the voice actor is. His name's Yuri. He voiced Sasuke.
Oh, really?
In the American Naruto.
Interesting.
And tons of other voices. Like I think he was Ben 10 when he was older. Like big time voice actor.
Sure. Yeah.
Looks nothing like him.
Really?
So yeah, like I was just like, what? And Yuri's got to be in his, I guess, 40s at this point. So I was just like, what? Like,
well, and that's the thing is like, again, like I get it. It's like, I mean, sure or whatever here, if you want to like respect your voice talent, that's fine. But there are better ways to do that. People play a Spider-Man game to like, play Spider-Man, Peter Parker here. So it's like, why would you try to make it look more like, somebody who essentially isn't Peter Parker or Spider-Man? Beyond me.
Yeah, I don't know. That's Yuri.
I mean,
kinda.
I feel like,
but he's like 40.
Well, right, and I feel like that looks like, I don't know. I feel like the older model looks more like Yuri than the newer model.
See, that's probably a better picture.
I mean, okay,
like what he actually looks like.
Yeah, but I mean, Peter Parker's not a 40-year-old man.
No.
So I mean, yeah, it's like, what gives?
I don't know, to be honest. It's
I don't get it either here, So, but I digress.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's weird that they spent this much time on it, but it's whatever at this point. I'm excited to play maybe on a PS5 in like 2025.
Yeah.
Because that's when the pre-orders will be finally fulfilled. I guess. Even though I didn't pre-order,
it'll be cheap as water by that point here. But
we'll see. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have an extra $500 laying around really that I can spend easily. So I'm kind of like, I'll probably wait Black Friday next year or something.
Switch Pro. Well.
Cyberpunk's
in trouble. Did you know that?
Yeah. I mean, I felt like I've been calling this for a while here because I remember reading a news article story about how CD Projekt Red wasn't completely satisfied with how the combat felt in that game, and I'm like thinking, you guys got like a couple months to get that fixed here, and that seems like a major part of that game. And if you're not feeling like that's up to snuff, that might be a problem.
I think it's a big problem. Yeah, they're basically making their employees work mandatory overtime for the next couple months.
Yeah, which I mean...
Is this supposed to be released in November?
Yeah, it's supposed to be November, I want to say 18th, somewhere around there. Like just right after like the new consoles get launched here. And so obviously, this will be popping up on the new consoles. But yeah, I mean, it's... I'm calling it. I think this game's going to get delayed, to be honest with you. I mean... Here's the thing. I mean, I'm not like overly excited about this game. I am interested in it, but I think honestly, like it's kind of one of those things where this thing has been delayed so many times at this point because this thing was originally, I think, supposed to come out March or April of this year, and now here we are in November, and things are kind of looking a little shaky because typically. When a game goes gold, like where it's completely done,
goes to press basically,
like is ready to be like manufactured and shipped out and all that. That usually happens like maybe about a month before the game comes out here. And we're like pretty much we're practically right there, like add on like a couple of weeks here essentially. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I know that there's been more. It's got to be close to being done here. It's just And I mean, I think like even they said like back in whenever it was like in like summer, they said the game's done. It's just we gotta fix bugs here or something along those lines. So I don't know. We'll see.
Look for a big patch day one if you buy it.
Come on, I mean that's standard.
All right, Smash had a new character reveal.
Yeah.
And I would say the word underwhelming comes to mind, or underwhelmed for the most part.
Fair enough.
For those of you kids out there, you'll probably be jacked about this, but for us grown men, it's not something, at least I'm not excited about at all.
Yeah, I mean...
It could have been, honestly, anyone else. Mr. Rogers.
I mean... Or another Fire Emblem character.
Yeah.
But no, so basically what we're talking about is Steve from Minecraft has been added, along with like essentially like swappable skins, so you can play as Alex, the zombie,
and Enderman.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't play Minecraft, and neither do I.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to be coming with a stage that's going to be looks to be randomly generated from what I can see. From what I saw from the trailer, and it seems like it similar to like the Mario Maker level that is in Smash Bros right now. And you use tools from the game like dynamite. You use swords and pickaxe, but the big thing is you can place blocks around the level, which
Troll City.
Well, and that's the thing is like when I thought of that, I'm like did you guys break the game by adding like a whole new way of edge guarding here? Just because it's just like,
yeah, they did.
If like you place a
just
block,
build a wall right at the edge.
Well, like if you build a wall and I can't like grab that edge or something like that, you build it too high up to where I can get. I don't know if that's how it works. I'm like, ooh, that might break everything here. And
he might be just a banned character in competitive,
possibly, but apparently this is like this mechanic is like such a big deal that the Smash team had to go back and rework each stage so that it could like allow blocks to be placed in them here essentially.
Wow.
So
that's a lot of work for one character.
So this is not like a easy character and like to really incorporate here and so
apparently this deal's been in the works for like 5 years.
Supposedly. I mean that I don't know how much stock I buy in that because I felt like if this was a deal that was 5 years in the making, probably should have been added in like the first pack here, I would imagine. But that being said, right as of right now, there's really no further details. But as of recording this, it's October 2nd. October 3rd is right around the corner. That's when we will get like the live stream.
Minecon or whatever it is. Their big thing, and Nintendo's going to have a little segment of it.
Well, right, yeah. Sakurai is going to be doing like, some essentially like a live stream and like kind of showing the character in depth, kind of like how he does for all the other characters.
Yeah, but it's part of the Minecraft event. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, so obviously, as we mentioned before, this particularly doesn't really excite me. I mean, I played like maybe about a couple hours of Minecraft here, and for what it is, I mean, it's fine here. I mean, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And, I mean, but I am interested to see how this plays, just because, I mean, obviously this is like completely new mechanic to the roster here that no other character really has like anything like similar to this type of thing here. So,
Tim Siebrecht, master this character, become a professional.
Yeah. I mean,
he is the ultimate troll.
I think he will probably like this character a lot. It depends on how well he control with this thing here.
If he could edge guard against you constantly,
I would hate that so much. Anyhow, so I get the inclusion for this because of how big Minecraft is.
Yeah.
It's one of the best selling games of the world. I think somebody said it was the best selling game just because it's like
nerds
$20 and like it constantly is like being supported and like people have been using
it's essentially Legos but in a virtual world,
right? And people have essentially been using it for like I think even like graduation ceremonies here as well, like for COVID. Yeah, exactly. So it's honestly a really big inclusion for Smash Bros. in all honesty, but it also shows further collaboration with Microsoft because Microsoft owns Mojang and the property, or I don't know about Mojang, but I know the Minecraft property here. So I mean that's how it is. But so we got 4 characters left.
Mm-hmm.
What characters do you personally want to see, and what are some characters that you're thinking that you'll get like more likely than not here versus like you actually versus like things that you actually want, I guess.
So this is I don't think this will happen, but I would say another Link, Majora's Mask Link, and you could switch between masks to do different abilities.
That would be interesting. I do feel like we already have 3 Links in this game. How
many Fire Emblem characters do we have?
Yeah, but I mean, those are different characters here, though.
Yeah, and I would say this Link would probably play a lot different than most, just because of the different masks.
I mean, I would definitely say, but that would be a pretty cool inclusion. Yeah. Probably similar to like maybe Pokemon Trainer, how you'd like swap between different Pokemon.
Totally. Yeah. Or even the new Fire Emblem character where they could switch between the weapons pretty easily, like your side B. I haven't played that person as much. So
yeah, I mean it's not quite like swapping as you think it is, but yeah. But anyhow,
I mean any of the characters that swap power type things, like Shulk type of situation.
Kinda, yeah.
I don't know. Is it what do I want in the game, or what do I think is going to be in the game?
Both. So, what do you want, and then what do you think is going to actually be in the game?
I can actually see them doing the Link.
You really?
Yeah, the Majora's Mask Link. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying like Crash Bandicoot.
I think
he'll show up.
I think Crash is likely. I also think Waluigi probably is likely after all the.
He'll be the last reveal. I'll put money on it now.
I mean,
everyone actually is here.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I think it'd be interesting. Man, I don't want Master Chief in there, honestly.
You really don't want Master Chief in there?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. He doesn't fit the game. He was in the PlayStation version of Smash Bros. A long time ago, I think.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't?
No.
Are you sure?
Well, he's Microsoft and Xbox.
Or sorry, that's what I mean. PlayStation did one and it failed miserably.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Master Chief's going to be in it. I'm trying to think of who else would be actually good to have in it.
I mean, I think Master Chief would actually be cool for one, just because I think, for one, Smash Brothers hasn't like really had like a representative from like a prominent first person shooter game, really, in all honesty here. And so I think, either like like Doomslayer or
Proto Man or Mega Man X.
Yeah. I mean, I do want a Mega Man X skin here. That's primarily what I want, at least for Mega Man here. But yeah, I would love to see like Leon from Resident Evil show up here.
That would be cool.
I would love to see the Doomslayer, even though obviously you can't have him be all gory, but you got to figure like he was like kind of the almost OG first person shooter guy here, so it would make sense to have him in there. Master Chief would I think break the internet. I mean, but yeah.
Give me Goku. That's still on my list.
That's never gonna happen.
Why? Okay, why would Master Chief happen before Goku?
Because
how?
Master Chief is a video game character.
So is Goku.
Not originally.
So?
It doesn't work that way.
How come?
Because Sakurai said that he only goes to people who are actually originated as video game characters, not anime characters.
I don't know. He's a liar.
Well,
I don't know. I would say Goku. I would say Majora's Mask Link.
Yeah.
And then, so I would say Majora's Mask Zelda would be on my list. Goku, because he's Goku, even though he probably won't happen.
No, it never happened.
And then I don't know.
All right. Well,
I honestly don't know who's going to be next, and I don't really know if I have a huge list because there's so many stinking characters in this game.
I mean, most of the bases are pretty much covered in terms of representing like big franchises or like iconic franchises from video games and video game history. So yeah, it's kind of at that point you're kind of like reaching for people at this point.
Because after this battle pass, how many characters will be in the game?
I believe so. It'll be 86.
You think they're going to hit 100?
I'm really hoping they do, just because for one, I mean, that's obviously adds longevity to the game, but also just the fact that, how cool would it be to be like, hey, we're the biggest fighting game in the world, and we also have 100 characters in our game here,
Could you see a Tekken character coming over?
I mean, if they do add like another, 14 characters to the roster, I could see Tekken getting in there. I could also see Soul Calibur showing up here or something along those lines. I mean, those were actually pretty big like franchises for like pioneering like 3D fighting and stuff. So it makes sense.
Honestly, after playing Hades, if they could get the main character from that game, that would be pretty sick.
I mean, I'm sure they might have like a spirit sticker or whatever here, like they do for like most of the other things.
Could you see any newer games getting in the mix?
Like what would constitute as a newer game here?
They had Astral Chain come out, like stuff like that. I guess
I don't know about Astral Chain. I mean Nintendo and Platinum do have like a pretty good working relationship. I mean, obviously Bayonetta is part of that here, but I don't know. I don't think like there's a big like, clamoring for like Astral Chain for one. And also I don't know like how big that game actually was. I think it did decent, but like not like, like next level, recognition, I guess, or something like that. I think it's kind of, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think
Persona Catcher,
like
a Pokemon trainer, but just personas.
Yeah, because Joker wasn't enough here.
Well, he only threw out that one persona, didn't he?
Yeah, his like main one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. I can't really imagine, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like it's almost impossible to predict. I think at this point, just because it's you have so many like oddball choices that came into the mix here. Like, if you told me that Joker was going to be in Super Smash Brothers, in a Super Smash Brothers game, I would have laughed at you. I would be like, you are an idiot, sir.
Yeah.
But here we are here. And it's like, that's like kind of a niche, kind of tucked away franchise.
Yeah, totally.
For the most part. And so it's like, okay, that's insane that you were willing to like, put that guy in there. And then also like Terry Bogard from like, King of Fighters or Fatal Fury, whatever it's called here or something like that. It's like pretty much.
Yeah. And then Streets of Rage.
Yeah. Like basically like, you got a lot of people being like, okay, who is that guy?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's why I'm like, even little things like the guy, like, I don't know. I think it really depends on who they've been working with closely lately.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, probably.
I mean, personally, I could see Doom Guy just because, he's kind of come back into the fold here. I mean, probably would make it more like, have him look like more like classic Doom, kind of like, kind of have like the goofier looking suit here. And
so how would they do like the guns and stuff like that, you think?
I would imagine like, he's primarily range, obviously. And then probably not going to have the chainsaw. That might be too much. But I think you just have like different like, attacks or directions or different guns here or something like that. And then, your final smash is the BFG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be cool.
Yeah. So anyhow, we're getting a little too invested in this topic here.
Yeah, so they had a little bit of Mario Kart news for the Mario Kart Circuit game.
Yeah.
Nothing really too much. It was just more of me. If you guys want to read the article, IGN posted it because Nintendo did like not a direct, but just like a informational trailer, if you will.
It was like a developer talk or something like that, where the developers come out and they basically go over what they are. Go over like what the game is and like how it works, blah blah blah.
Yeah, so if you guys want to know more about it, check that out. But basically, you're buying the cart and the software's free. The cart's $100 by itself for one. So if you want to race against an actual person, it's $200.
I mean, here's the thing. This makes sense. Obviously, we all knew this was going to be more expensive than not expensive here. Especially considering how this was like the same company that charged us $80 a pop for cardboard here,
Very true.
That being said, I do feel like this is a better deal that you're getting for, cardboard that you put together and like put around your Switch and your Joy-Cons and all that here.
Whoever designed that is a genius.
I would have been into it as a kid, but it's kind of like one of those things where it's just like, so you guys just went to the local moving company. You bought like a bunch of those cardboard boxes, like for probably dirt cheap. And then just, gave them a little bit of a paint job, sent it out, say, $80.
Yep. America.
So
love it. Beyond that, there's not too much more with it. They kind of describe how the game is going to be played. There's those four arches that you have to go through and come back to the starting one.
And basically it determines like the course layout and stuff.
Yeah, you can design your course, all that stuff.
Yeah, which is
pretty cool.
Again, if I was a kid, I would be super into this here. I would eat this stuff up here, to be honest with you. But
I think it'd be a little steep for my house growing up with $100 price tag as far as just being a game.
But the other thing about this too is like, you got to figure it's just like how many homes are actually going to be able to like use this thing, because
probably won't go on carpet very well.
Probably not very well here. So it's like, hardwood floors, like, laminate
and they
floors.
did say don't take it outside.
Yeah. So, that's another thing here. So it's like,
unless you have a warehouse.
Yeah.
You might as well not buy it.
Like you just, every time you go to Costco with your family here
set up a track.
You set up the tracks all over and stuff, and, try to dodge like oncoming shoppers and like grocery carts and like people giving out samples and all that. Yeah, it's great.
Yep, love it. And Pokemon actually came out and gave some more info on their new expansion, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Basically, for this one, instead of it being like an armor, that's the Isle of Armor was the first one. I think it's Crown Tundra is the
I
new
think
one.
So, yeah.
Which is basically a frozen tundra. Yeah. Not much has been released about what the story of it's going to be.
They did give a release date. It's like what, October 20th or something along those lines?
I don't know.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's earlier than we thought because it's usually a November release.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's this month.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically they threw some new evolutions out there. Every legendary from every game is going to be there.
I mean, that's pretty dope, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm guessing those are going to be like the max raid or Gmax battle things. They have like a new raid system that sounded pretty cool, where you basically will fight against in max raid battles, and if you beat them or catch them, you move on to the next one, the next one, the next one, and it's kind of like this continuing thing to get to probably a more rare Pokemon. So it's kind of like a rogue style almost in that sense. Like
yeah.
You don't restart obviously when you get to the beginning, but you keep going, try to get to that final boss and beat it.
Right.
And I don't know if there's healing and anything between that. I think you just have to kind of go with what you got.
Yeah,
so
just kind of like an endurance run for the most part.
Yeah, and they showed off some other stuff like the different, because I don't know if you know this, they have Galarian versions of the 3 original legendary birds. So Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos.
Know that. No,
yeah,
cool.
So they all like kind of swapped elements and they look a little different. So it's pretty cool. They'll have the originals in there. But yeah, I think those are the biggest things. Oh, and then like you can now link your Pokemon Go Pokemon Go account to and import them into the game.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think that comes out the end of the year though.
So if that's the case with Pokemon Go, because obviously the Pokedex was like one of the big omissions of this game here, right? So with that being said, with like, if you have Pokemon Go, which is constantly adding like new Pokemon and new Pokemon generations each year, is that going to be the way that you get all your Pokemon
probably
into this game?
Probably.
Okay.
For I don't know, to be honest. There could end up being more DLC. I think they said these are the only ones they're doing, but who knows?
I mean, who knows?
There'll be a new game in a couple years, so
probably like either next year or maybe the year after or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, something.
But that's all we got for you this week.
Yep.
Well, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Check us out everywhere, all the medias, the YouTubes, whatnot. Have an awesome week, and remember, everyone's a nerd about something.